Hello. Okay. Make sure mic check, mic check. See if we got the mic right. Do we have the mic right? Anybody? I don't think we do. But here we go. My name is Coach Malik Hall, and for the first time, I am trying to go live. I don't know if it'll work, but we're gonna find out, and we're gonna see. Okay, so this is Catch Up with Coach. I am Coach Malik Hall, and we are talking college football first. We do have an interview with the Big Jab and Mannix at midday at 1. So by all means, please tune into that on the Big Jab .com. But we go jump in the Friday night event. You know, if you are a Florida State Seminole fan, I don't know what to tell you, but they got a W, and I'm not telling you it was pretty, but it was a W. Listen, Malik Cunningham, hey, I love any kid, any player with the name Malik. And he threw for 2 bills. He threw for what did he throw for? 243. But I'm gonna tell you, if you throw for 243 and you can run for 127, you have a shot. Period. 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 Okay. Um, so they got it done. I did not watch Air Force and I did not watch Wyoming, but Wyoming beat Air Force. Who would have thought it? Or um my man Josh Allen, like, what are you talking about? Like, I thought it. We'll get to the NFL in the next segment. Let's keep moving. Georgia, South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Georgia spanked them in good fashion. Look, I love Coach Smart, man. He got some swag on him, and he talked that cheese, cash cheese. Like, if you think we gonna be hunted, you're tripping. Period. That's what it is. And ever since he made that declaration, the Bulldogs have been barking and biting flat out. Okay. Alabama did what Alabama's supposed to do at 63-7 to ULM. You know, that ULM a few years ago had a few top five, Power Five, had a few Power Five schools on their heels. And I'm not even gonna tell you, no one Alabama is definitely not about to go up and find themselves on their heels against UL Monroe, but they do bring what they bring. Same to be said, we go to Ohio State and Toledo or in-state, shake them up, cross them railroads. Shout out Toledo, only 30 minutes from Detroit. Um, by the way, I don't know if my Michiganians or Ohio people know. They had a little battle over Toledo. Michigan won in Toledo. Ohio won in Toledo. Unfortunately, Toledo won. I wish I could tell you it was the Ohio State Michigan start. That's what started the rivalry, but it wasn't. It was just a did you know. Anyway, Ohio State did them good, and they showed up. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. I don't know if CJ Stroud is gonna be a Heisman winner, but he gonna be a candidate. Period. And the way O State like to run the ball, they should be fine. Shout out to my man, Coach McGraw. Coach, keep doing your thing, keep hustling, keep grinding, get to the and I want to see you at the head coaching spot one day, calling the shots. Don't call me. Anyway, they took care of business. Number 3, Ohio State beat Toledo 77-21. Okay, we have Michigan. I am a Michigan man. Whenever Michigan comes on, I will be talking about Michigan. I want that to be very clear here. I hope it's very clear. If it's not, it is now. Okay. Michigan did UConn 59-0. Look, there is no quarterback controversy at Michigan. It's just not. Michigan has traditionally always, all the way from Tom Brady, they are not going to have a quarterback come in cold after one graduates or goes pro. Period. From Jim Henson to Tom Brady And now, right, they got the McCarthy battle going. And hey, McCarthy got the start. Who knows? Next week, the other guy may get the start. All right. Uh Louisiana and Clemson. Number 5, Clemson. I know. Look, my wife doesn't do sports podcasts, so she doesn't know. I still don't think Clemson is there yet. But Dabo, I'm a big Dabo fan, and so I believe Dabo will get them back to where they need to be for them to make a real serious push. But again, it means nothing to peak in week 1 and week 2. It doesn't help anybody to peak in week 1 and week 2. It just means you're good in week 1 and week 2. And so right now, Clemson, they doing the right thing. Steady she goes, steady she goes. Let it keep building, and it'll get to where it has to go. All right. This is a tough one because this is the game I watched. Um, ouch. Where I don't even know where I'm gonna start here. Um, yeah. I love Nebraska because I was a Nebraska fan and back in the day when they were running a triple. Um, and and shout out Coach Frost. He was one of those quarterbacks that I enjoyed watching back in the day at the running triple. The irony of it is my head football coach, Coach Whipple, is over there as an offensive coordinator. Coach Whipple is well traveled and is a proven winner, and I expect that they will get it right. The pressures that are on the premier programs and the blue blood programs to be competitors immediately, it is what it is. You know what I mean? The the Dylan Gabriel kid, man, he got some work to do. But if anyone can get him right, Coach Whip can. So they took a bad loss to Oklahoma. And kudos to Oklahoma because Oklahoma, you know, hey, I will say this. Excuse me, I misspoke. I completely misspoke. Gabriel, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the kid from Oklahoma. Yes, that is the kid from Oklahoma. He did his thing, man. I mean, for whatever it's worth, he's a distributor. He knows where he's going with the ball, and he got some wiggle to him. Um, on the flip, though, I'm not into dogging out players, guys. That's not what we do here. I don't ever want that to be the situation. But I was a football coach, and so I'm just giving you my insight in how I see the world, and what that looks like on the back end of the business, right? And so that transfer portal. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know. What do you want me to say? It was a tough loss. Um, look, I'm not. Again, I told you, I'm not calling for coaches' jobs. That's not what we do. I've been fired more times than I've been hired. No, that's not true either. But it sounds cool. it does sound cool. Um, but anyway, look, Oklahoma routed 49-14. Was not a good performance. Um, and again, Coach Frost, man, I hope you land on your feet, do your thing, man. I was a big fan of yours. Um, period, period. And I have some good friends on that staff, so I wish those guys all of the best moving forward, and I hope they can get this thing on the right path because the Nebraska Cornhuskers, man, it was no better program to see that triple option. Yeah, yeah, ooh, that was. Ooh. You don't know, you better go back on YouTube and look it up because that was something else. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, so as we keep rolling here, and with no delays, I gotta get in, get out, just because that's what we about. USC, the Trojans, are they back? 45 points? I think they might be. I think they might be. Okay, Oklahoma State put up 63 on Pine Bluff, the HBCUs. We talk about those money games, 63 points, 63-7. I've gotten bit. I've gotten bit that much in money games. Um, and where I will say I've been fortunate, we did not end up injured. We did not end up like really beat up, extremely beat up. You can find yourselves in those games like, oh, what happened? Oh my God. I thought we were gonna make it close. I thought we was gonna make Sports Center. I thought we was gonna hit a dun 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 dun. And next thing you know, you losing your starting player. Um, and that's the coach problem. The player problem is you get hurt, and no player wants to get hurt. And so, shout out to Pine Bluff. I hope y'all came out of that healthy. But Oklahoma State routed Arkansas Pine Bluff HBCU 63-7. Okay, Youngstown and UK Wildcats. UK Wildcats. UK Wildcats. Youngstown had Youngstown, the old 1AA power, and they are banging. They are back in the playoffs. They are making noise at the FCS level. Unfortunately, Kentucky at number 9 is just too much to handle at 31-0, shutting out Youngstown State. By the way, shout out Youngstown State. I've watched their film. They get after it. And also, you got to get after it if your mascot is a penguin, period. I don't know penguins that ever be really aggressive unless they're defending the young. But hey, they get after it out there in Youngstown. And Youngstown is a gritty city. Hello. All right, moving forward, we have Missouri State, Arkansas, them Hogs. I want Arkansas to be back. It's a funny SEC short. Check them out. They do a great spoof on Arkansas. Arkansas at number 10 took care of business at 38-27 Missouri State, but it was a close game. Do not let that score be a reflection of Arkansas being ranked number 10. All right, moving forward, oh, this one hurts. This one hurts. Oh, this one hurts. If you follow my Twitter, yes, I'm talking about more than one team. And in this particular case, um, Michigan State losing. Oh my God, to Washington. Oh my God. That one hurt. That one hurt 39-28. Um, and at number 11. But when I talk about if you go take your loss, take it early. We took it early. We're not in the Big Ten yet. But don't sleep. That's gonna hurt today. Period. And that's gonna hurt all week. The worst part about losing when you feel like you shouldn't lose is you have to wait a whole 7 days before you can make that right. That's the worst part about losing. When you feel like you should have won. The worst part about losing when you knew you couldn't win is you knew you couldn't win. That's the worst part. It's very few times I've gone into games knowing I couldn't win. I can't even think of them. Now I've gone into some tests knowing I wasn't gonna pass. Another story. Michigan State keep doing it. East Lansing, we watching, baby, all the way in Maine. Hey, shout out Uncle D. Oregon got it done 41-20. And we will probably speak to this on Mannix and Mannix because that was a pregame conversation. Uh, who would take that game? And as much as I spoke to BYU getting it done last week, Oregon had a lot more to prove. Just coming out the gates with an L. And now this being a game that they can really say, okay, we took full advantage of because of the BYU victory. Okay, we move forward to the U, and I ain't talking UMass yet. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Texas A&M got the job done, and they needed to. Listen, at College Station, you got the U coming out there off of 2 wins. I mean, look, whether they're impressive wins or not, that's not the point. But I will say, um, Texas A&M got the W, and I don't necessarily feel like we saw the best Miami team we could see for that game. Um, but I will say this though, I will say this. Shout out Cristobal. You know, they took the turnover chain, they did all of these extra things and stuff like that, and I'm with that. Um, Part of it, man, is when you take over a program, um, and here's the most interesting thing about every coach that has taken over the University of Miami program. Just about every head coach worked with the head coach that they're replacing. That's how tied in that program is. Whether it be legacy, whether it be just the people that the administration believes in, is the people who had success under some head coach in that University of Miami tenure. Like Coach Diaz, I think GA at Miami with Croker. Um, Cristobal played in Miami. And so I'm not mad at anything that he does because he a Miami man, period. So he didn't leave Oregon. And he had a great thing going at Oregon, a great thing to just say, I'm all set. That's enough. I want to go back home and just flop. No, like no one says that. But when home calls, home has a pull on the heart, guys, that I cannot really explain other than how you see over and over and over Miami related people come back to Miami no matter what job they already have. Okay. San Diego, Utah. Utah took care of San Diego. The Tennessee Akron game, the boys, the Tennessee Vols, they took care of business as they should against Akron. 63-6. Texas Tech, North Carolina State. I thought that would have been a little closer game, but it wasn't. And North Carolina State took care of business. Okay, now let's keep it rolling. Just because I don't have all day, let's get to the games that I really want to talk about. Because the games that I really want to talk about, I'll give you a little more backdrop, a little more juice, sauce, whatever your preference. Again, this is just coffee. Just coffee. Never mind. I'm just anyway. All right. Florida got it done. Yes, they did at number 18 in the country. You're supposed to get it done, but I have to say they did not get it done in good fashion. A win is a win that you can build off of, knowing that is a win. And so they got their W, but it was not pretty. And South Florida is, whether you believe um, South Florida is playing up to Florida or not, the reality is they are. In Florida, they got it done. They got it done by the hair they chin at 31-28. But I got a feeling that Gator juice isn't fully loose yet. Mark my words on that one. Okay, here we go. This was the one. Hey, look, I've coached football for 22 years, collegiate football. And in the world of collegiate football, it's relatively small. Um, you either know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. So let's talk about a guy 3 guys removed. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. And so that's also why it's important for me and for you guys to know there's nothing to be gained from me calling for a guy's job or crapping on players that have a bad game. Listen, you can do that. Twitter's doing that. IG's doing that. Facebook's doing that. My job is just to talk casually about sports and to just give you how I feel about what I saw. And I like to talk. Anyway, all right. Again, Wake Forest, Liberty. Don't sleep. Liberty had a top round quarterback draft pick last year. Don't sleep. The head coach at Liberty was the head coach at Ole Miss. Also, don't sleep. When that head coach got the Liberty program rolling, that head coach was disabled. He was doing everything remote. I think Coach Freeze is now back on his feet. I think he's, if not 100%, close to. If he is not, it speaks to the the real leadership that he's pouring into that program to be 60%, 70%, 80%, um, to have some challenges in front of you personally, but yet and still being able to lead that program to the point that he has gotten it to date. Um, yeah, so shout out Coach Freeze. And then as we flip over, why am I speaking so much about Liberty? Because shout out number 19, Wake Forest. I love Wake Forest because Wake Forest poured into my back to school concert, period. Not only do I love Wake Forest for that, but I've worked with some guys on that Wake Forest staff over the years who are not just good coaches, but great men. And great men find ways to win. Take that one and track it. How about that? Yeah. So shout out Coach Clausen. Shout out to my man Coach Cohen down there, defensive coordinator, getting it done. It was a tight one, but it was a win. 37-36. And that wins in the win. Move on to the next one, boys. Wake Forest, I love what you're doing on social too. Mental note, or put a pin in, what are you doing for your guys when they have a great game or when they perform to the level that you want them to perform at? What are you doing? Because Wake Forest is blasting their kids on social, and I love it. The T-shirt is not enough anymore. What do you want me to tell you? These athletes they're going into college with some with money deals already, others with just as big of an ego. Like, so what are you doing to highlight the players who are doing it right? And if you just giving them a t-shirt, hey, kudos to you. I guess you only can give a t-shirt because you got to be able to do something. Intrinsic value. I won't even get into that either. Won't get into that. Okay. Because we're just talking football right now. Check in for the motivational stuff Thursday or effort and attitude on the channel. So okay. Anyway, Wake Forest took care of business. Oh, miss my man Kiffin. I like Kiffin. Kiffin Juice. Coach Kiff Juice. I think that's his IG or Instagram, IG or Twitter handle. Coach Kiffin Juice. I love it. I love it. Period. It really, you should really just call it Kiffin Juice. Take the coach off. Kiffin Juice. Just pass out Kiffin Juice. Ole Miss 42-0. And he was going against the juice doctor himself, Coach Jeff, who I have a great deal of respect for. But be that as it may, they routed G Tech 42-0. All right, Texas, USTA, a semi-state rivalry. They took care of business 41-20. The game that we are going to go to next, because here's why. Because when you think about the Big Ten and where Rutgers is going, and then when you think about Temple, I'm not even sure what conference Temple is in anymore. But Temple continues to show up on the box on the box score. They continue to show up. When you watch them, they play hard like Philadelphia, dog. I'm just telling you. And shout out to I got a lot of coaches on. I got a lot of coaches on both staffs, some that I played with, some that I coach with, some that I've hired. But be that as it may, shout out both coaching staffs. That was a great game. I'm a defensive guy, so low scoring games are great games. I don't want to hear you. It was sloppy. It was good. It was good tackling. It was good hitting, good defense all around. But Rutgers did take it down 16-14 for Temple. Philly got something to say, Temple got something to say, and you go on to mess around and go on that Broad Street, North Philly if you want, and don't know what you're about to get, you mess around and get a whooping by Temple. That's what happened, flat out. Okay. Now listen, I can't cover all of college football. I can only cover what I would choose to cover. I go down the list. My brother puts the list out. He said, "Hey, here's the list of the schools that play." And I look at the PDF. He gives me a stat. And I don't really want to talk stats because stats is irrelevant. So I really just like giving the shout outs to the programs because college football is so vast. It's so hard to cover all of it that you have to cover some of it, and everyone can't cover all of it. But what I'm about to cover now is the stuff that I love to cover. I don't like to call it small ball, but for the sake of argument, it is not the Power Five because for those who do not know, I spent most of my career in the FCS level, um, and a little bit in the NFL, but nothing to be braggadocious about. Um, I'm just telling you for context. That's why I'm talking. Okay. Everything that I'm talking about is to give you context about sports. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So the conference that I want to talk about, the CAA. I love the CAA. Shout out to all of I cut my teeth in the CAA. I cut my teeth in the Atlantic 10 and I graduated in the CAA. I graduated as it was a CAA conference. But most notably, I've coached in the CAA for UMass at a point. I've coached in the CA for Hofstra. Shout out Hofstra, that jersey's up there, who no longer has a football program. Um, but let's jump in. Villanova, I thought Villanova would have given Army a run for their money, not only because Army is the option, which is difficult to defeat, but Villanova had the special sauce defense to defeat the option, which is that 3-3 stack monster. I love the 3-3. I love it. I love it. If you have not, if you are a coach and you have not made a way to see the Villanova defensive staff clinic on their defense, I suggest you follow them on Twitter, IG, and find out when they're throwing that clinic because it is awesome and it can get you some W's. Though it did not get them one, they lost 10-49. Richmond came up north and routed Lehigh 36. Towson, my man Nelly down there, he's still doing his thing at West Virginia. Coach Brown, Towson took it over the head 65-7. That's a tough one. Monmouth took care of business at Georgetown. Georgetown, well, DC to South Jersey. That's only a 3-hour drive. But they did take it over under the chin. Monmouth beating them 45-6. And then we have the one, my man, Coach Patterson. I love Coach Patterson. He's my brother. He's bro, my brother, period. We've worked together, we've coached together. He's the godfather of my children. And so you may know him as Coach Patterson. I know him as Uncle C. And so unfortunately, they were not able to get it done against Delaware 42-41. That got a little bit out of hand. The offense just couldn't really get it going. The second half, the defense slowed the hands down a little bit, but that second quarter, it just unraveled with a 28-point skid that Rhode Island only could respond for one possession. And so I don't want to get into the play-by-play on it, but hey, Rhode Island, Delaware, that was a game, a CAA bash, and Delaware came out on top. Okay, now we got Albany and Fordham. Now, I don't do with coach, it's all good. You talking about the games, but you don't do no calling it pregame. You don't call the games who go be victorious and not beforehand. You're right, because I don't believe in that. It just jinx it. Don't jinx the football guys. That's my rule. Don't jinx the football guys. That's not to say that I don't believe in God, because I believe God likes football, so he assigns football guys to patrol just the small things of football when people get out of line or they start jinxing their teams. That's the football guys, okay? And so Albany Fordham, I worked at Fordham. Fordham has turned over a coach, but Fordham, this is the Fordham championship anniversary from Coach Clausen, who, by the way, I spoke to at Wake Forest, got the W. So Coach Clausen, if you ever check his track record, he's been a winner everywhere he's gone. And yeah, in 2012, they went to the playoffs and they popped Northeastern in the 1AA playoffs. So, but prior to that, they won the Patriot League championship, and this was their reunion year. And no, it was it 2012. Yeah, I think it was 2012, or no, it might have been '02. It might have been '02, but they did win in 2012 too. Numbers, the twos. Okay, you mass, you know. Hey, I don't care who it is. I don't care who you have to beat. We got our first dub, and that's all that matters. We got Stony Brook, and I got to tell you, the game atmosphere looks wonderful. You got the smoke and barbecue cooking pregame. You got the new green field. I see the student section in the end zone, and you can't forget about that sexy jumbotron. Let's go, boys. Good job getting it done. 23 against Stony Brook. Moving on to William and Mary. Bill and Mary, as we used to call them. Bill and Mary did get it done 34-7 versus Lafayette. That's Lafayette. Okay. And then I want to talk to all of my New Englanders because Maine got something to say because they went down to Bean and had everybody shaking in their boots that first quarter. Flat out. Check the box score. 10-14 first quarter. And so that second quarter got a little shaky, but then we stabilized it coming out of half. But the final, we weren't able to put any points up in the fourth quarter at UMaine, but the final became 17-38 Boston College. This is my college football recap. And I'm out. And I'm done. And I'm out. Peace. Check in to the Mannix Brothers in the Big Jab. We will be on at 1 o'clock. And follow in for the Effort and Attitude motivational series, Control What You Can Control, the podcast. I am Coach Malik Hall. This is Catch Up with Coach. Sports Talk. Peace.